Today you're going to be solving 1- and 2-step word problems within 100 using the strategies that you've learned so far based on place value. So I know that we've been talking a little bit about mental math. Now you get to actually use all of the strategies or mental math to help you solve. So we're really going to take a look at using the RDW method. So if you look at this story problem, it says, Don has 34 brownies. He bakes 22 more. How many brownies does he have now? So remember, you're going to go back through, and after you read it, you're going to go ahead and circle that important information. So he has 34 brownies. He bakes 22 more. How many brownies does he have now? So when I look at that, I know that if he bakes 22 more, I'm probably going to be adding in this problem because I want to know how many he has total. So if I start with my tape diagram, I know that there's 34 that he has already baked. And then he has 22 more. So then I can set it up just like that. And I want to know that total number. So putting those two together, how many does he have? So then the arrow way, I can say I have 34, and then I can add 20 to 34 to give me 54. And then I can add 2 more, and that equals, sorry about that, I don't know what I was thinking there. Let me erase that. Here we go. So then if I add 2 more, then I know that goes to 56. So how many brownies does he have now? Then I write Don has 56 brownies. Perfect. So I've done my read, draw, and write to answer the problem. Now let's go ahead and look at a 2-step problem. A says Mrs. Lopez cut 46 centimeters of yarn. Mrs. Hamilton cut 22 centimeters less than Mrs. Lopez. How many centimeters of yarn did Mrs. Hamilton cut? And then B says how many centimeters of yarn did they have altogether? So I'm going to just look at A for now. A, Mrs. Lopez cut 46 centimeters. Mrs. Hamilton cut 22 centimeters less than Mrs. Lopez. How many centimeters of yarn did Mrs. Hamilton cut? Now, I know with less than, that typically means subtract. So I know that 22 centimeters is going to be shorter. So let's go ahead and start with our tape diagram. So I'm going to label it Mrs. L, and she had 46 centimeters. And Mrs. H has an amount that we have to solve for, but there's 22 centimeters less. Let's put the label there too. So now my equation would look as 46 minus 22 equals what? So if I do my arrow way, I start at 46 and I take away 20. That gives me 26. Then I still need to take away the remaining 2 equals 24. If I put that back into a sentence, Mrs. Hamilton cut 24 centimeters of yarn. Now I look at B. So there's my answer for A. And I'm going to circle it just because it is pretty busy up here and a little bit messy, so I want to make sure that my answer stands out. On B, let's take a look. How many centimeters of yarn did they have all together? Now on all together, I'm going to box because that typically means I'm going to be adding them. Now I know that Mrs. Lopez, had 46. Sorry, there we go, 46 centimeters. And then Mrs. Hamilton had 24 centimeters. And I need to add those two together. My equation would look 46 plus 24 equals. So I start the arrow way at 46 and I add 20. That takes me to 66. And then I add 4 more to 66, and that equals 70. So Mrs. Lopez and Mrs. Hamilton have 70 centimeters of yarn. And again, I'll circle that to show my answer. So that is how you are going to solve a two-step problem. The first step you have to solve in order to get the answer for the second step. And then that way you can put all of the information together. So we will continue using those strategies and applying them to our story problems.